Tom?
Yes, David.
You are Tom?
Yes.
How old are you, Tom?
I'm 32.
And your brother is there?
He's a year older. He's 33.
Is he on the other line?
Well, he's in the back room, and he says he's not going to come to the phone.
Is he watching television?
He's gone to bed, and I'm trying to get him up, but he says he won't come to the phone.
Okay. And the main reason he won't come to the phone is what?
He just doesn't want to talk about it.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
We went to the Ram game 2 weeks ago, and when we got back to his house, we left at halftime because they were getting destroyed by the Redskins. And we got back early, and our wives were in bed together.
Okay, and how did you find them? I mean, did you go into the room? Were you outside the room? What was the story?
No, the door was closed, but we could hear, the sounds, the noises.
And there was no question?
I can't imagine there would be a question.
Okay, so what did you do about it?
We just left. We left, and when we came back later, they were just all in the living room, like, I mean, they didn't know anything.
They didn't know that you knew.
They didn't know that we knew, yeah.
And how did you react around them?
Like nothing had happened, I guess.
And why? Why didn't you bring it up?
I mean, what do you do?
It's one thing to say, you come home early and you discover the situation, what's going on. But you know something that's now between you and your wives, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So as long as it's there are certain doubts that are in your mind, right?
Exactly.
Would you share those doubts with me now?
Who have I married? Who is he married?
Okay.
What who? It's kind of like, who are these people? These are things that we never ever even dreamed or even imagined existed.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for 3 years. He's been married for 7 years.
Any kids?
He's got 2. I've got none.
Okay. And the girls always got along together, right?
Oh, very well.
And that was always a source of pride and pleasure, right?
That they all got along together?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And you never had any suspicion that this was going...
Absolutely none.
Okay. Your brother's more upset about it than you?
Very much more.
Tell me why.
I would suspect because he's very much overweight, and perhaps he suspects that if he lost his wife, he would...
That it would be because of his being sexually undesirable.
Maybe so, yes.
Okay. And how do you feel about your sexual self?
What
was that little
Well, I'm very confident until now, I guess.
Yeah, up until this happened, that wouldn't have been a question, right?
Right, exactly.
And now the question is what?
The question is, what do I do?
Well, the question is, what does it all mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. This is one of those secrets that you cannot turn your head around and just pretend didn't exist. I'm sorry. There are some, that you can. But this is not one of them, because it's undermining the way you think about yourself and desperately undermining your brother's sense of self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it sounds as if the more stable marriage is you and your wife. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Then I would begin there. And I would say to your wife, look, the other day when the Rams were getting killed, or the Raiders, we came home early.
Yeah, but Dave, how do you do that?
You just say, we came home early and we found you in bed together and we were so shocked we left we couldn't say anything, and then pretended to come home later and found you in the living room dressed. So, what's going on? Why don't you just tell me all about it?
I don't know. It just sounds...
Sounds what?
I mean, how do you do that?
You just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. What else can you do? Go around with this dark secret that keeps you from being intimate? How's sex been since you discovered this?
Not very well.
No. And do you think it's going to get any better?
Probably not.
Okay. Do you value marriage?
Very much.
Then it can only live in the truth. Love only functions and is free to breathe where you can tell the truth. If you're holding in all these dark feelings, no matter what they are, sometimes people just experiment too, you know. You don't know what went on. All you want to know is what went on. It's much more common in Europe than in the United States, but women in Europe very often will have relationships with other women and think nothing of it. I know that sounds very cosmopolitan and sophisticated, but the truth is it's the truth. Now, that doesn't make it any easier for you, and I'm not suggesting this is a way to live out one's life, but you cannot live in a situation where you're holding in a secret that's keeping you from being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And your brother, certainly in his relationship, where there are a lot of factors driving his wife away from him, needs to take a look at that relationship and deal with it in a straightforward manner.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be overwhelmed. This is only a symptom.
Well, should we like do this all together, or?
No. Start with you and your wife first. You're the most stable. Okay? And the following path will make itself known. Your wife will then probably tell his wife, and since you know, and he knows, and each of you know, and then you tell him that you told your wife, and then everyone knows, then you can sit down with it.
This is going to destroy our family.
It's already done that. If you don't.
It's going to destroy our family.
If you don't speak about it, what will it do? It won't destroy it? The thing has already happened, and you don't know what it was. You're so afraid.
Very much.
Okay. You've got to talk to your wife and tell her you want to keep it quiet, just between the two of you, not between her and her friend. You won't say anything to him, but he already knows. You know what I mean?
You mean my brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've got to start that conversation.
We haven't talked about it at all.
Right. You've got to start that conversation. You've got to get her side of the story pure before she's had a chance to talk about it with anyone else. It would be a nice idea to take her away for a drive for the day, away from a telephone, so she can't corroborate it and say, you say this, you say that. So there's no cover-up, and you can say, come on, what happened? And have it out, not angrily. Just say, this is, I'm willing to hear anything and to understand, but I want to understand what went on and why did it happen, and what does it mean, and how long has it been going on?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering about.
Well, but you've got to find out.
Is this like the first time, or is this been going on for a long, long time?
Well, if it were the first time, how would you feel about it?
I'm sorry?
If it were the first time, how would you feel about it?
Probably wouldn't bother me as much.
If it had gone on 4 times before, how would you feel about it?
Probably worse than if it was the first time.
All right. Listen, you've got to find out the truth. But the main thing is you're trying to make a relationship work and to understand what this means. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. If it reflects something going wrong between the two of you, don't you want to know that?
Yes.
It may just be a symptom. So focus on it, the symptom.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by a symptom?
A symptom of a problem in your relationship.
Between her and I?
Uh-huh. Isn't that fair?
I don't get it.
Well, I want you to get it. The fact that she was with another woman might reflect the fact that she's unhappy with some of the things that go on between you and her.
But she's never said anything like that at all.
But then again, you won't even tell her that you found her in bed with your brother, with your sister-in-law. So there are a lot of things you don't know about, right?
I guess.
Both sides of this relationship are in secret. Open up the relationship, and you raise the chance for love surviving. No matter how bizarre a thing sounds, no matter how terrible or confusing or against your beliefs the situation is, stop for a minute, get out of yourself, look at it. Don't be so overwhelmed by the thing for a minute. Put your feelings aside for a second and say, what's going on here? What could this mean? And observe and learn from it. It's your best route.